Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Maxim, stay-at-home mom of 3. Motherhood is our topic of this channel, all things motherhood. Hopefully you have subscribed and hopefully you have also watched the first part of this video, which is becoming a stay-at-home mom. And today we're going to continue with part 2 of becoming a stay-at-home mom, but the financial planning aspect of it all. Right, we're going to jump into the nitty gritty of how my husband and I prepared financially to live on a single income so that I can be a stay-at-home mom. I am going to walk through 5 steps that we took to help us prepare to live on a single income. Number 1, the most important tip that I can give and what we did was prayed. We prayed and fasted. First and foremost, to make sure that this was the route the Lord was calling our family to, and that He would provide and allow us to do this, right? He is our provider. So we prayed and we fasted for a while. This was not a fly-by-night decision. This took us a couple years to actually take the leap and become a single income family, which is something I talk about in part 1 of this series. But that is the very first thing that we did. We took our time and we prayed separately, we prayed together, we fasted, but we started this journey by praying, right? And inviting the Lord into this decision. So that's number 1. Step number 2 is we paid off our debt. Anything that we owned, we paid it off. We became debt free. That was important. We had about $80,000 in debt, mostly student loans, and we paid it off, right? We could not start this journey by having debt. It was going to put us way too far into the financial hole of being a single income family. So we stuck to our guns. We were disciplined, self-controlled. It was really, really hard. And for 18 months, we buckled down and we paid off $80,000 in debt and became debt-free before we took this leap of faith into being a single income family. During this debt-free journey, during this time of becoming debt-free, we didn't spend extra. So there was no traveling. There was no shopping. There was no just going out to dinner on a whim. We may have allocated, a few dollars for a birthday and things like that to go out to dinner, anniversaries, special occasions like that. But there was no like weekly going out to dinner, eating out when we wanted to. We cooked at home, and I was pregnant with our first child at this time. So that was a major sacrifice. So I could not just on a whim, go off of a craving and go get what I wanted to get. I needed to make stuff at home. I had to cook at home and meal prep at home. And so major sacrifice, right? But the sacrifice was so worth it in the end to be able to come home and feel financially stable because we were debt free. That's number 2. Step number 3. So after paying off our debt, we practiced living on a single income. So we practiced living on my husband's income. That's the income we were going to be living on should we become a single income family. And so we needed to see if we could do it, right? Could we pay our household bills, any of the necessities that we needed out of his income solely? So my income, because clearly I was still working at that time, my income we put towards our debt at the time, right? That was part of how we would become debt free. We put it into our savings, right? So that we could have a little bit of a nest egg going into this single income family journey. And we only lived on his income. Anytime that we would get any type of special income, so whether it was income taxes, birthday gifts, anything that was extra that would go towards our debt or into our savings once we became debt free. Okay, so we did not spend extra, right? Anything extra that came into our home as income or gifts, we put towards our debt. And then when we became debt free, we put it into our savings. But this was pivotal for us. This was crucial for us because we knew that if we could not pay our household bills, if we couldn't live off my husband's income, right, then we knew we could not walk down this journey, right? We knew that we could not enter this journey of being a stay-at-home mom, at least for our family, right? We wanted to make sure that we could pay the light bill, that we could pay the water bill, that we could pay our rent at the time, that we could pay, pay for gas and groceries, right? So it was so important for us to be able to practice for months on living off of a single income, which was his income. Step number 4. Okay, this is important too. And this was something that we decided when we got married and as we became debt free was we don't own credit cards. We do not use credit. Okay, so this was so new to me when I became married, right? Because I had a credit card, my credit score was great. I used credit cards to get points and miles and all of these things. But as we entered into paying off debt, wanting to make sure that we don't live on debt, continuing to be debt free, living on a single income, by using cash only to purchase the things that we need, saving up for the things that we may want. This was also important, right? Because it taught us how to budget. So we we do not, even still to this day, we don't own any credit cards. We do not use credit. Step number 5, and the final step, which is a step that we still do to this day because we want to stay on track. We, at the beginning of the month, when my husband would get paid, we would have a monthly budget meeting to set our budget, our monthly budget in motion. And so what that means is we categorize all of our expenses, our bills, everything that we believed that we were going to put out for the month. So that's bills, groceries, gas, any special, gifts for birthdays, any special event that may be going on that we felt we needed to be a part of. We weren't a part of everything, and we still aren't, because we decided that we were going to tell our money where to go instead of our money telling us where it's going. And so we would start our month budgeting, right? So we would take his paycheck, we would allocate amounts for everything, every line item, every expense, everything, and we would budget it. And weekly, at the end of each week, we go through our budget, we see what we spent, where we spent it, where we have spent it, and we make sure that we are on track. And we do that weekly so that we don't overspend. Or if we do overspend, that means we have to take it from another budget area, which is never something that you want to, continue to live by. But that is something that we do monthly and weekly so that we can check in and see where our money is. We don't want to end up at the end of the month like, oh my gosh, like, where did my money go? Where did I spend it, right? We know exactly where it's being spent because we're keeping track of it. And so that is a huge part of staying on budget being a single income family. Like, there is no other income, there's no other money that is coming in, so we can't waste it. We can't be frivolous. We have to be frugal. We have to budget. We have to, clip those coupons. We have to make sure things are on sale, or we are, buying things that may not be brand name or top of the line, whatever the case may be, right, to stay on budget. But it's worth it, right? We believe that this journey of being a stay-at-home mom is worth it. And so those are the 5 ways that we have financially prepared, and things that we are continuing to do on this journey of being a stay-at-home mom. So hopefully this was helpful to you. If it was, let me know below. If you have more questions, if there's something I need to go into more detail about, or you want me to go into more detail about, feel free to put those questions below. And as always, make sure you have subscribed, and we'll see you next time.